beautiful people, and welcome back to Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I'm a certified sommelier with a mission to spread wine knowledge and to help you drink better. Have you ever been reading winemaking notes and you come across terms like fermented in stainless steel, matured in concrete, aged in new French oak for 9 months, and wondered what do all these terms mean and how do they relate to the wine that I'm drinking? Well, today we are going to get into the different types of vessels that are used in the winemaking process, why they're used, and how they might make your final wine taste like. So let's chat about it. The vessels that we're going to cover today can be used in a few different areas in the winemaking process. So first off, you have the alcoholic fermentation, which is where the grape must is turned into alcohol. Then you have a few other kinds of fermentations, such as the malolactic fermentation, where the harsh malic acid is turned into the softer lactic acid. Then you have the maturation or aging of the wine. Now, not all wines will be aged in certain vessels after the fermentation process. Some of them will be bottled right away, while other wines will be aged in these vessels for days, months, or even years, depending on the wine. Then there's the possibility of maceration, also known as skin contact. This is where the grape skins are kept in contact with the juice either before or after fermentation so that the wine can get the most out of the grape skin's color and tannins. This is most commonly used in red wine making or in what we know as orange wine. There are many different types of vessels out there that can be used in winemaking, but today we're going to cover the main 4. We have wood, also known as oak, stainless steel, concrete, and clay. Wood or oak is usually the choice for more premium winemaking, as it is the most expensive of all the vessel types. When the Romans conquered modern-day France, they saw all the locals transporting their beer around in these big wooden barrels, and they decided to do that with their beloved wine as well. Traditionally, they would have used a clay amphorae, but these are very fragile and are not very good for transporting wine. Oak barrels allow for a slow exchange of oxygen to happen during the fermentation and the aging process, which helps to soften the wine and add an extra layer of complexity. Oak barrels impart wood flavors and aromas and can also impact the wine's texture as well. Oak has its own tannins too, and if you have a wine that has really high tannins and you put it in an oak barrel, the grape tannins and oak tannins will bind together to create these long-chained molecules that on the palate will feel softer and smoother. There are lots of different choices when it comes to your oak barrels. You can have them as a demi-barrique, which is 112 litres, or you can have them as large as a foudre, which can be anywhere from 2,000 to 12,000 litres. The smaller they are, the larger the effect that they'll have on the wine. The oak barrels can be new, which is going to impart a huge amount of oak flavors, aromas, and textures to the wine. Or if they've been previously used or a little bit older, they won't give off so much flavors and aromas and will just allow for that slow oxygenation of the wine. If you have a new barrel, you can choose how charred or burnt it will be on the inside, which is going to determine how kind of smoky the wine will be. You can also choose where in the world your oak will come from as well. Now, France is a massive supplier for the wood that goes into the oak barrels. And while France is not only highly regarded for its beautiful wine, it is also highly regarded for the oak that they age it in as well. Eastern European countries such as Slovenia and Hungary also offer high quality oak, but usually at a lower cost than the French. American oak is popular not only in America, but also in places like Rioja in Spain. And American oak is said to impart some sweeter spice flavors such as coconut and vanilla. Stainless steel tanks are a popular option worldwide because they're not only cheaper than oak barrels, but they also allow the winemaker to have more control over the wine. You can control the temperature. It's easier to maintain the cap of grape skins that floats to the top of the fermenting wine. They generally last longer and they're easier to maintain. Stainless steel is inert, which means that it doesn't allow any oxygen into the wine. Perfect if you're wanting to make a fresh, fruit-driven, varietally pure style of wine. They are great at preventing oxidation in wine, and they can also be used as holding tanks once the fermentation has finished, as they don't impart any aromas or flavors into the wine. So you know that the wine is going to stay the same while it's being held in the tanks. Wineries only really started using stainless steel tanks from the 1960s when they took inspiration from the dairy industry, but nowadays stainless steel tanks in winemaking is all over the world. Concrete may not be the first thing that you think of when you think of winemaking, but it's currently having a major resurgence all over the world. Concrete tanks are shaped like giant eggs, which promotes a circulatory movement of the wine within them, so a natural and gentle mixing happens. The use of concrete tanks in winemaking has been around since before people started to use stainless steel, but nowadays it's more commonly used with smaller and more boutique producers. They give the wine more contact with oxygen than stainless steel, but less than with oak, as the inner walls of the vessel are porous. Using concrete allows you to get the texture as if you were using an oak barrel, while the wine will still show freshness and purity, as you're not getting any of the oak flavors or aromas that you would have got if you used a real oak barrel. It's kind of like the best worlds of stainless steel and an oak barrel come together. And finally, we come to the OG, the original winemaking vessel, which is clay. Used by ancient civilizations such as the Greeks and Etruscans, it contributed to the geographical and cultural expansion of viticulture and wine throughout the Mediterranean. There is even evidence of clay jars containing residual wine compounds dating back to over 8,000 years in Georgia, where wine is thought to have originated from. Clay amphoras were used for fermenting, aging, and transporting wine until they were replaced by wooden barrels in the 1st century AD. Clay vessels, whether you want to call them amphoras or quervies, are definitely making a comeback, as many kind of smaller producers are starting to look back into this ancient method. The rounded shape of a clay amphora or quervy does exactly what a concrete egg does, and it helps the wine to gently circulate within the vessel, which just naturally mixes and moves the wine around. Similar to concrete, vinification in a clay amphora or quervy provides a happy medium between oak aging and stainless steel, as clay is a porous environment without having any flavors or aromas impacting the wine. Wines aged in clay will benefit from the micro-oxygenation that you would typically get coming from oak barrels, while retaining their freshness, their fruit-forward character, being uninfluenced by any external factors. Well team, that is all from me today. If you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to give it a like and share it with all your wine-loving friends around the world. Remember to subscribe for more wine education, and until next time, remember, drink better, be better.